Okay, welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm Teacher Oakley. Sorry about the little bit of a late start. Had a weird new technical glitch. But in any case, I'm here now, and we're ready to begin. We are going to be learning more phrasal verbs with two particles. Okay. All right. These are phrasal verbs instead of just a phrasal verb and a preposition, which works as a unit as a verb. We've got actually two prepositions. Of course, when they become part of a phrasal verb, they are no longer prepositions. They are called particles. Although there are, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds, thousands maybe of phrasal verbs, not so many two-particle phrasal verbs. We'll be looking at some more of them today, yesterday, today. Tomorrow we'll be reviewing them. Okay, we're going to be doing some fill-in-the-blank exercises and discussing them as we go along. Welcome to the class, Carlos. Hello. How are you today?
Hello, okay, fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the class, and hello, Heidi again.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Hey, question for you guys. Part of the reason I'm a little late, there was an extra step involved in joining the Hangout. I had to get permission from Verbling to enter the class. Did you guys see that? Did you also get this new step?
No, I don't know.
No, you didn't know? Carlos? No?
No, I join normally.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just a teacher thing. Okay, it's new. I wasn't expecting it. I clicked the wrong button and I had to start all over again. And, okay. Curious if that was a new step for all of us or just me. Well, probably not just me, probably all the teachers. Okay. All right, so let's get started in any case. Okay, we're going to do some fill-in-the-blank exercises here. We're going to complete each sentence with the correct form. So not only are we going to have to identify the vocabulary verb, but we also need to be careful about the form of the verb, meaning the verb tense as well. So just a little bit of a grammar exercise at the same time. Now you will notice that some of these sentences, fill-in-the-blank sentences, examples, have two blanks. That is because we're going to have to split up the phrasal verbs. In other words, the phrasal verb is separable. You can separate the verb from the particles. Others have one blank, so the phrasal verb in question will be inseparable. Okay, well, let's get started. Carlos, can you try number one, please?
Yes, I can try.
Okay.
This is tough. We take up right on his subject.
Okay. Very well. Good start. You've got the right phrasal verb. So, all right. Good start. Let's talk about some grammatical aspects now. How to use this properly. You got the right word. Okay. All right. First of all, okay. Subject, noun, we, something, verb, and second verb, stayed. Notice the verb tense. Carlos.
Okay, then we took.
That's it. Okay, and it's split. All right, so we took Ray up on his offer. So we're separating it. We took Ray up on his offer and stayed at his country cottage. So what's another way to say that? We took him up on his offer. We what his offer?
We accept his offer.
That's precisely correct. Exactly. Many cases a phrasal verb has a one-word verb alternative. Not always, mind you. There are a few phrasal verbs that don't really have an alternative synonym verb. There are a few, not very many though. Most phrasal verbs have an alternative one-word verb. Accepted here is exactly the same. Very good. Generally speaking, phrasal verbs are considered to be more informal, more suitable for speaking, conversation. And one-word verbs would be used more in writing. It would be more acceptable. That's a general concept when you're talking about phrasal verbs. So, Carlos, very good job. Okay. Heidi, how about number 2?
Another point of view. Let's go on, Julie, about our discussion.
Okay. No, I don't think so.
Maybe on or with, not to.
Actually, it's gonna. I'm gonna give you a clue. It's the last particle is going to be on. Believe it or not, on our discussion.
Bring in.
Yeah.
Bring in Julie on discussion and see what she thinks.
Okay. This is present tense, so you have that right. But okay, when we separate two-particle phrasal verb, it's going to be like this. Let's bring Julie in on. So we'll have the two particles after, just like we took Ray up on. Up on is in the second blank here. Yes, let's bring Julie in on our discussion. So, all right, what's the one-word verb we could use? Do you know? What's a alternative one-word verb we could use here? Well,
what's it? How can I say?
What does that mean? We want to bring her in on the discussion.
Participate, make her.
Yeah, include her maybe. Yeah, have her participate. That's right. It's another way to say it, right? Okay, let's include Julie in our discussion. Now, we'd still include in. We would need a preposition because in co-locates with include. Right, let's include Julie in our discussion. All right, let's bring her in on the discussion. So you want to include somebody. This phrasal verb is used in reference to talking about people. You want to bring somebody in on discussion, maybe a meeting, maybe maybe a deal or an agreement, something like that. You want to include them. This is a pretty good example. Most often, okay, you could bring somebody in on a deal as well. That would also be common. Yeah, I started laughing because I was thinking about this phrasal verb, do away with. Let's do away with Julie. I just have to say, I don't know, okay, we haven't gotten to this phrasal verb, but I was just thinking about it, made me laugh. If you do away with a person, it means you murder them. Just so you know. Okay, you get rid of a person or a thing, just when we see that. So anyway.
You put her down.
Carlos, put her down. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's funny. All right. Yes. Normally, you put a dog down. For example, you euthanize an animal. You normally euthanize a human. But okay. Anyway, all right. We're getting off topic. We're getting off course. Carlos, bring us back on course. Number 3, please.
Yes. Pete is a real snob. You're telling me he looks down anyone who doesn't have a car.
All right. You got to include that last particle, though, Carlos. He looks down on anyone who doesn't have a car. Okay, so, well, here's one. Now, is there a synonym here, really? What does that mean? He looks down on anyone who doesn't have a car.
He thinks that he is superior to the other person.
That's correct. Absolutely. So there's not really a one-word synonym here. Not really. That doesn't really fit. He hates anyone? No. I don't know. Yeah, there's not really another way to say it. Carlos, what is the opposite to look down on someone? So you think they're less than you are. What is the opposite phrase?
Look.
Yes, also using look.
Look up, maybe.
Look up to. Yes, that's right. So if you look up to someone, you admire them. You admire them, you respect them, you look up to them. Right. So look down on someone, I can't really say he disrespects, maybe, almost, but not quite. Not quite the same thing. And there's no opposite of admire. You can't disadmire someone. That doesn't make sense. Okay. So that's an interesting one. It doesn't exactly have a synonym. Heidi, number 4.
Norman is so boring. I wish you wouldn't go on about collecting all the time.
Oh, yeah. Good one. What does that mean? What is Norman doing?
Continue.
Continue. Yeah, continue what?
Continue some action.
Well, no, a very specific action. If he goes on about something, it means he talks about it. So what Norman is doing here, Norman is so boring, I wish you wouldn't talk about stamp collecting all the time. And the idea is emphasizing the fact that he won't shut up. He continues talking about stamp collecting. Okay, so we can, now here's a phrasal verb with 2 particles, all right, where as opposed to look down on, it has to be this way. I can't say look down and use it a different way. It's always look down on. It has to be. However, we can go on about, I can use just go in the first particle. Wow, he does go on, meaning he does talk a lot. So I only need this second particle really because I want to connect it with an object noun. He does go on about something, in this case stamp collecting. All right, so here's another aspect of the 2-particle phrasal verb. Sometimes, really, we have to have 2 particles or it's not going to make sense, look down on. Sometimes we add the second particle only because we need to connect it to an object noun. For example, my example, wow, he does go on. no object noun. I don't need an object noun. So the phrasal verb go on is intransitive. It doesn't really need another noun to follow it. If I would like another noun to follow it, that's when I need to include the second particle. So this sometimes happens with phrasal verbs. We're basically taking a phrasal verb and adding another particle in order to make it work in a sentence so we can connect it. Okay, Carlos, number 5.
Charlie is finally. I'm not sure about this one. I go for standing up to asking her out.
No. I can understand why you would say that, frankly. Okay.
Charlie's finally.
The main clue here is actually the next sentence. Why did he take so long? The phrasal verb you're looking for has to do with time. Yeah.
Time. Get round to.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, very good. All right. Now you've got the right phrasal verb. Now let's talk grammar. This Charlie's, this is not a possessive. This is not Charlie is. This is actually Charlie has.
Yes, gotten round to.
Yeah, that's it. Finally gotten around to asking her out. Okay, that's it. So we need the past participle of get. Right, to make a present perfect tense. Has gotten around to asking her out. Again, I mentioned this.
What would be the synonym of get around to?
That's a good question. Or
maybe the definition of get around to.
Okay, well, all right. First, one small point. British, pretty much in all phrasal verbs, British people, you just use round. And Americans always use around. So I would say gotten around to it. We add the extra A. Now, what does it mean? Actually, this is a very useful and very common phrasal verb. He's finally gotten around to asking her out means it took him a long time. He took his time to ask her out. He waited a long time. We very commonly use this phrase. For example, Carlos, if my wife asks me, when are you going to fix the bathroom door? Because I've been putting it off or procrastinating it, I will say, you know what? I'll do it when I get around to it. Okay? When I have time, I'm not going to put a time limit on it. When I get around to it is, okay, when I have the opportunity. Okay, so meaning that the person has probably procrastinated it. It's very commonly used in the way I describe it. I'll do it when I get around to it. It's a very common phrase in English. I'll do it when I can do it, when I have an opportunity.
It could be, I'm going to do my homework when I get around to.
Sure, it could be any activity. That's right. Well, it could mean when I get an opportunity. It also very strongly could mean when I feel like it. In this case, Charlie's finally gotten around to asking her out. Maybe he didn't feel like it before. Maybe he didn't have the nerve. Maybe he didn't have the opportunity. We don't really know why he procrastinated. But for whatever reason, he took his time. doing it is the idea. That's a useful one because it's very common. You're going to hear this in real life, normal English, a lot. Okay, Heidi, number 6. Heidi, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I would probably have run away. I didn't think he had the nerve to stand up to somebody like that.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Perfect. And okay, and this to stand up to somebody.
Confront.
Great. To confront someone. Oh, okay. Perfect. Very good. Which is why I kind of understand why Carlos was thinking about that one for the last one, because maybe it took Charlie a while to confront the idea of asking her out, but it wouldn't work like that.
I was thinking about confrontation.
Mm-hmm. Right. But he's got to confront his fears. But we wouldn't say that. Charlie's finally stood up to his fears. You can't stand up to your own self. We're not going to use it like that. You stand up to somebody else, always. So we would never say Charlie stood up to his fears and asked her out. We would never say that. I might say Charlie has confronted his fears and asked her out. That would be okay. So just the usage there. So very strange, because I in the second sentence I could easily use confront in place of stand up to, but I can't always. There's an interesting aspect there. We only use stand up to in reference to someone else is the point. Okay. Carlos, number 7.
Everybody is relying on you. You can go back on your promise.
That's it. What is the one-word verb? Well, actually, there's a couple of possibilities. What is another way to say this, Carlos?
Go back. Break your promise or something like that.
Yeah, okay. You can't break your promise. Would be saying the same thing. That's right. Can't go back on your promise. You can go back on a deal. Well, or back out of a deal. And now you would use back out of. Right. You go back on a promise. You break a promise. Another word that we use, and we don't even have to use promise. And I don't. How do you spell it? Okay, there it is. Another useful verb, renege. If you renege on a promise, you go back on it, or you renege on a deal, you don't hold up your end of the bargain. You don't do what you promised to do. You renege on a deal or whatever. Okay. Okay. Heidi, number 8. Heidi?
Oh, I'm sorry. Pupils can wear what they like now. The headmaster has screamed home. Oh, and what gone done away with.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Oh, this is strange, right? Something's wrong with this. We can't just say the headmaster has done away with school uniform.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. What? This little typo here or something. How could we make this work? There's a problem.
Like disposal.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The the headmaster has done away with. Yes, you're right. It means disposed of, gotten rid of. Okay. Yeah. That's right. That's the meaning. But the problem here is the headmaster has done away with. There's the verb school uniform singular. That doesn't make sense. I
It
would
could
have to say
be
school
set up.
uniforms. The problem is a grammatical one. He's done away. This is a countable noun. Uniforms.
It could be the headmaster has set it up school uniform.
No, you set up. You create something. So he has gotten rid of something. Something that existed. He has destroyed it, taken it down, gotten rid of it completely. It's gone.
Okay.
If you set something up, you build something or you start something. Excuse me. No. I was referring to a different problem here. The fact that uniform is plural, and I cannot use a plural noun without an article. And I'm speaking about uniforms in general here, so I should say school uniforms. The headmaster has done away with school uniforms. So, yeah, anyway, different, not related to phrasal verbs, actually, related to the noun. Okay. Round 2. Here we go. Another set.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, look at Miss Beauty over here. Wow. Whoa. Sexy. Okay. In any case, let's start another round. Another separable phrasal verb to start us out with. Carlos.
Eating those strawberries has uh, has
This is a
maybe
hard one.
let me think for a sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Maybe make up for.
Has made me up for it? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't know really. Sorry.
Okay, this is a hard one. This is very difficult. It's very difficult because this is clearly one that Americans do not use in this way. Okay, actually, I'm a little confused if it's... Heidi, what do you think it is? I'm a little confused because American speakers say you break out in a rash. Okay. So, there's two possibilities here. Because it's British, I'm not sure which one they would use, frankly. Either eating those strawberries has broken me in on a nasty rash, which doesn't make sense to me. No, it can't be that. Has gotten me down with a nasty rash. Brought me out in a nasty rash? I don't know. We're going to have to skip that one. That was tough. An American wouldn't say any of those things, ever. I've forgotten when I reviewed this what I figured out. All right, we're gonna have to come back to that one. I don't have any idea, actually.
We need that British people.
Yeah, right. That one's a mystery to me. All right, Heidi. How about number 2?
Mrs. Kent's children love her. They look up to her as a source of inspiration.
Right, and we discussed this earlier. Look up to as the opposite or antonym of look down on. They
Admire.
admire her
Admire.
and respect her. Yeah, great. Okay, Carlos, number 3.
Katie doesn't like you. You've got to face up to the fact that you're not just her type.
Yeah, okay. Now, frankly, it would be just perfectly normal for me speaking to say you've got to face the fact. Sometimes face the facts if it's more than one. Although it's also perfectly normal to use the phrasal verb version, but sometimes just face here. Okay, face the facts. Okay. All right, you face something. All right, this is you confront it, I guess, but confront. Okay, this is the word when you confront things about yourself. You face or face up to reality, truths that you don't want to accept, like that. That's the idea.
That could work for the last round when in the number 5 where it says Charlie's finally faced his fears
Yes,
and asked her
that's
out.
right. Exactly. Very good. All right, that's it. So that's how we would say it if somebody's confronting themselves. Or yeah, that's exactly correct. All right, great. Well, that helps solve that. Okay. Number 4, Heidi.
Malcolm can't come, I'm afraid. He's gone down with the flu.
Yeah, okay, there it is. So all right. He's gone down with the flu. Very British. Americans, of course, say he has come down with the flu. Yeah. So slightly different. They go, we come. All right. Definitely no American would say he's gone down with the flu. We say he's come down with the flu every time. Okay, so definitely, here's another aspect of phrasal verbs. Frequently, one word in the phrasal verb, usually it's the particle, actually, is different, but the same exact meaning, British and American. This is actually a little bit of an unusual case because it's the verb that's different. That doesn't really happen that often. Okay. Carlos, how about number 5?
Yes, I gave her a present to made up for all the trouble I caused.
That's right, but of course it has to be make up for. It's you're using the phrasal verb as an infinitive, so it won't alter the verb.
That's right.
Right, to make up for. Okay, to another. Do you know another way to say that? When you try to, I don't know, make somebody feel better about an argument or whatever. You have a bad.
Compensate or something.
Close. Compensate is usually used for money. Yeah. Okay, compensate is really close, but usually monetary issues. You compensate them. Okay, you make amends. All right, so in order to make amends for something you did, you buy someone a present. Make amends, make up for. Okay.
I want you to forgive me.
Yeah, that's it. Asking someone to forgive you. Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, Heidi, number 6.
When I decided to go in for the contest, I never thought I'd win.
Yeah, here we go in for the beauty contest. Okay, and she is a beauty. Okay, when I decided to go in for the contest, okay. Again, I have to say this one's quite British as well. I don't think an American would say it like that. You might just simply say go into the contest, but really it's decided to enter the contest, probably. Okay. Actually, we use go in for slightly differently. He doesn't go in for sweets. All right. Negative there, but he doesn't like sweets. You go in for something, you like it or dislike it. Often it's used with the negative. Doesn't go in for something. That's fairly common for Americans to use. It's actually unusual to use it positively. Oh, I go in for sweets. That we have so many alternate ways to say it that you really like something. We don't say that, but it is used in the negative. Don't go in for is actually common. But no American would say it as enter. It's very British there. Okay, Carlos, next one. Number 7.
It was very rude of that woman to
Something. Our conversation.
breaking on.
Very good. Yes. Break in on our
It's the
conversation.
same. It's the same, but in.
It's the same as what? I'm sorry. Don't understand.
There's a phrasal verb, but in. I'm gonna wait
Butt
a
in.
little.
Oh, butt in. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And yours is much more common. It's more slangy, but it's much more common. Right. It's very rude of that woman to butt in on our conversation. Yes. It is the same. And actually, yeah, you got it. That's right. Butt in. Actually, that's much more useful, frankly, because it's much more common. Okay. Break in on a conversation. All right. It's possible. I've heard it, but I've heard butt in much more commonly. Okay. Heidi, number 8.
Now, when I faced up to the previous manager, I had a lot of problems with the staff. Faced
Did we use?
up to no.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Confront.
I faced up to the previous manager. I had a lot of problems with the staff. Maybe, but it almost doesn't make sense if I stood up to the, didn't we already use face up to anyway? You got to face up to the fact that you're not her type.
Confront?
Yeah, but I confronted the manager, then you have problems with the staff, but you are one of the staff. That doesn't really quite make sense. I think the idea is when you did something, the previous manager, you became the manager, then you have a staff. You don't have a staff until you are the manager. So, which phrasal verb means to assume a position from someone else?
Take over.
Yeah. You take over, you take control, take over from. So now you can, I took over. I don't need an object noun. I took over from. Now I'm going to say the person. So, yeah. Here's another one of those. We talked about phrasal verbs where the second particle is just used so we can add an object noun. here.
Then
This is
where we can use the face up.
that was where is it? Number 3. Kathy doesn't like you. You've got to face up to the fact that you're just not her type. That's it. Okay. So, all right. When I took the position from the previous manager, and take over. Okay. The only reason we're using from is so we can add an object noun, which is a person. That's it. Okay, so what was number 1? Which brings us back. What is the one that we have not used? We used everything here except this one. Crazy. All right. Eating those strawberries has brought me out in a nasty rash. I guess that's it. Again, I had no idea what the answer was, so I've never heard this before. Obviously, must be British.
How would be the American way to say this?
I would say, good question. I would say eating those strawberries has broken me out in a nasty rash. Break out. You break out in a rash. And actually, all right, this is actually very common for break out. And it's also, coincidentally, or not coincidentally, it's also a 2-particle phrasal verb. You break out in a rash. Okay, so all right. There you go. Well, I've learned something too. I did not know that one. Okay. Let's try. We've still got time. Let's try a different kind of exercise. We're going to do a little mix and match with this one. We're going to match the, obviously, 2-particle phrasal verbs on the left with a phrase on the right. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Here we go. Mix and match a set of 8. Okay, Carlos, come in for.
Sorry, my daughter is upset.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is your daughter, Carlos?
4.5 years old.
Okay. My daughter's about to turn 4, Carlos, so I feel for you. I do.
It's a terrible age.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Well,
They're testing their boundaries, Carlos. That's what they're doing.
Yes, I think
pushing and testing you. I know. Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway.
I told her to settle down, but she didn't listen.
Yeah. I hear you, man. All right. Okay, so basically these phrases, we've got the verb and then what comes behind it. We don't have a subject noun. It's a little bit of an odd mix and match, but so, okay.
Just let me read a little bit.
Right. Okay. Any idea?
Maybe 8.
Okay, that's funny because it actually would work and it would actually make sense in a very concrete and physical way. Yeah. So, for example, you come into the office after sitting around doing nothing on a Saturday. I wasn't doing anything, so I came in for some work after sitting around doing nothing on a Saturday. I was bored. Yeah. Okay. Not wrong. Would actually make perfect sense in a physical way. In a much more abstract way, however, another possibility, you can come in for a lot of criticism. This whole phrase more or less goes, come in for criticism because of his behavior. Okay, it's almost an idiom. Not quite, though, but it's one of these phrasal verbs where we use this, we follow it with the same noun, really. You come in for criticism. Almost always. I don't even know what other word you would use behind the phrasal verb.
It is a hard thing about phrasal verbs because they may have abstract meanings and physical meanings. So
Yeah. Frequently, they'll have a physical meaning and 2, 3, even 4 abstract meanings. Yeah. You're absolutely correct. Heidi, what do you think the next one matches? Come up to.
Come up to expectation despite all the problems we had.
Very good. All right. So you managed to meet or surpass, at least meet expectations. Right. Yeah. All right. Great. Carlos, how about number 3?
come up with his enemies by spreading lies about them.
No. No. we. No. Here the idea is you come up with something, you imagine something. So you create something with your brain. So the object noun is going to be something abstract, ideas, concepts, plans.
Okay, suggestions for improving our environment.
All right, so you come up with suggestions, you brainstorm. That's what you do in a brainstorming meeting. You brainstorm, you come up with ideas. That's exactly what a brainstorming meeting is. You just try to imagine them, you know, from nothing. Okay, that's the idea of you come up with something. I don't know, I'll come up with something means I'll think of something. And this is by the way, this is a really, really common one, commonly used, come up with. Heidi, how about number 4?
Drop out of college because the work was so difficult.
All right. Drop out, you quit.
Withdraw.
Withdraw, okay. Right. College, school, class, whatever. It always has something to do with education. You don't drop out of work. I guess you could drop out of society. I've heard that collocation before. He dropped out of society and decided to live in a cave, for example. I guess you could drop out of the stock market. I sold all my stock and liquidated all my stock. I dropped out of the stock market. Oh, okay. Often used about school, but all right. It could be drop out of some other institution. Society, stock market, what have you. We don't use it for work, though. We don't say he dropped out of work. So that's a mistake I've heard people make. Carlos, how about number 5?
Get back at I have 2 options. Arise because she had more work to do.
No. What's your second option?
Somewhere after sitting around doing nothing.
No. You might get back to some work, meaning you return to work. Okay, get back. You're thinking of get back like return.
Yes.
Okay, now this is one of the two particle phrasal verbs that has another completely specific meaning. Often, again, we just add that second particle so we can join it, but this is not the case. This is more like look up to or look down on. Specific meaning here. Get back at, well, Heidi, do you know?
Revenge.
Revenge. Exactly. Exactly. So you might want to get back, he might want to get back at his enemies by spreading lies about them. You get back at someone, you get your revenge.
Revenge? How do you say?
Yes, revenge. Type it. Revenge. I'll get back at you eventually. I'll get you back eventually, I might say. I'll get my revenge. Okay. All right, Heidi, number 6.
Get down to some work after sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're going to get down to something. You're actually going to start, and you get down to something. You're going to start a project, some work, a task, a job, whatever. Okay, get down to some serious study, whatever. You're really going to start to do something in a energetic way. Okay, Carlos, number 7.
Get through to.
It should be the. There's a missing article. It should be get through to the.
To the
Another.
head office on my
Yeah.
portable phone.
Okay. Now, okay, this is important. Get through to the head office. Obviously, that means connect, like on your phone. But another very important meaning here, if I say I can't get through to my teenage son, or I can't get through to my daughter to make her behave. All right, I can't make her understand. I can't communicate my idea. I can't. If I say, am I getting through to you, which is very common in English, by the way. If I ask you, am I getting through to you, I'm asking you, do you understand me? Are you understanding the information I'm communicating to you? Which is, again, it's very common. It's often used in a negative to express that you're not able to communicate successfully. I just can't get through to the client that his idea is never going to work. He just won't understand. This would be very common. Again, here's another one, really, really common in spoken English, actually. Okay. Heidi, the last one.
Put in 4. Arrived because she had more work to do.
Okay. All right. All right. American and British, this is okay. What does that mean, she put in for a rise?
Ask.
Yeah.
Ask it to company. Please.
Yeah, for a rise. Okay, 1 point. 1 point here. British say a rise. Americans say a raise.
Promotion.
Raise. I got a raise. No, more money.
Money.
Strictly speaking, money. Just money. Just more money. I got a raise. Doesn't mean benefits or promotion. It means money. So British say rise. I got a rise, but Americans always say a raise. You put in for something, you apply, I guess. I put in for a position at the donut factory as chief hole maker. Okay. So I
Who
I
most
applied.
delicious present, Jordan?
Yes, the chief benefit of being the chief hole maker, I get to keep all the holes for myself. Okay. On that silly note, thank you very much, Carlos, Heidi. Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for working with me.
Bye.
I'll see you after lunch if you're around. Or good evening, Carlos, if you're going to bed, whatever.
Yes, it's too late for me. I think I see you
All right.
tomorrow.
All right. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.